Hello there, welcome to the Perfume Experience. Welcome back to another house series. And today we are going to feature one of the houses that is popular on Facebook. A lot of fraggets within the community like this house. I'm talking about fragrances from the house of Jashan Fragarances. And we're going to review, or rather, I'm going to talk to you about a few fragrances that I got from them about a few months back in February. And let's get into the video straight away and talk about how their fragrances are, how are they different from other houses, and what makes their products very unique and of good quality. All of that right in this particular video. You're watching the Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney. Let's get going right after this. So yes, welcome back, and I did get 6 fragrances from the house of Jashan Fragarances. In fact, very popular in the fragrance community for their quality of blends. It's also a house that makes alternates also as well, and plus they are also known for their own collection. Now the fragrance house is basically managed by or run by one Piyush Kumbnani, and he's the face of this particular fragrance house. Now he is a perfumer. Now there's a big difference between a perfumer and an alt house, right? It's essentially little like a medical clinic versus a doctor. Now an alt house, like a medical clinic, you can go onto the counter and say that you have a problem, you have a headache, you can get a certain medication from it, but you can go to a doctor too. A doctor is somebody who can kind of, who understands how the system works and kind of, gives you a prescription according to that. Similarly, a perfumer is also like that, who would kind of, create, who has got good knowledge of fragrances. And Piyush Bai is actually kind of got a degree in perfumery, and he's been taught by people who have been into fragrances from a long time, especially a lot of international folks as well. So he kind of understands perfumery very well. So his blends are really good as well, right? So now I have kind of got about 6 fragrances from them, and basically what I've got are 4 ml vials. Now these are small 4 ml vials that you can buy from them. Okay, so I've got 6, and I in fact featured one of them in my previous barbershop fragrances video. You might be aware of one of the fragrances that's quite popular from them is called Daddy Issues. Okay, now I will quickly talk to you about the scent profile. First of all, let me tell you, these 6 fragrances are offered traditionally in 4 variants. Okay, so the first ones that I've kind of got here is called EDTs. Okay, so these are all EDT versions, and now EDT versions also, they tend to last pretty long from their house. So that's why if you are not somebody who likes a lot of strong fragrances, then you should ideally go in for EDT. Now you can go in for EDT, you can go in for EDP, you can go for extract, and then of course you can go for a version called as X. Okay, now each of these fragrances have got different levels of concentration that's used, and X uses the highest, and the prices also are dependent on that configuration. Now like I said, these are basically 4 ml vials, and all of them are EDT, and these are basically at about 240 rupees to 280 rupees, 88 rupees for about a 4 ml vial. Okay, so from a price point of view, you would kind of see them slightly on the higher side, but then again the quality of the fragrances are such way, right? Now let me talk to you about the 6 fragrances that I did get, and which are some of my favorite ones. The first one to talk about is Daddy Issues. Now Daddy Issues is a proper so-called barbershop fragrance, which is basically has another vibes of lavender, woody, aromatic, spicy fragrance with a little bit of a pencily, a pencil shavings, like that kind of a woody vibe to it, a little bit of an inky note to it as well. And on the whole, it smells very nice. It's got a good scent profile. It's a sharp, slightly sweeter, but at the same time spicy fragrance. If you like barbershop fragrances, this is a must try, I would say. This is Daddy Issues. Now the performance of this particular fragrance is about 4 hours to 5 hours on, at least, or that's what I've been able to get. On apparel, you might be able to get a little bit more. So like I said, you could buy the same fragrance on a higher concentration and then try, according to your tastes and needs as to what kind of a performance or what kind of the projection do you kind of want, right? So definitely Daddy Issues is one of them that you should try, and they have really good looking bottle, and I kind of like the way their stickering works. They do talk about EDT here, but Daddy Issues on the front. Overall, a very nice fragrance to check. Now, another fragrance that I absolutely liked from them is called as Caramel EDT. Okay, now caramel is kind of, as the name says, it's a fragrance that's got a lot of sweet caramel vibes. It's a woody kind of a fragrance. It's got sweetness to it. It's got a lot of that melted toffee type of a caramel vibe, something like Most Wanted from Azaro, something like on those lines, but a very nice kind of fragrance. And this one like rocks like crazy. This one projects very well. So if you like sweet gourmand type of fragrances, then yes, you should definitely consider this. This also does a similar 4-5 hours of lasting, but projects for much longer. So that way, if you like a sweet kind of a fragrance with a lot of vanilla, you like sugar, you got that toffee type of a vibe, caramel vibe, then you should consider getting caramel. Now, when I got a lot of these fragrances, like I said, most of them are, in fact, not most of them, all of them that I've got are their own creations. So I kind of went for more barbershop, aromatic fougere kind of a fragrances. So there is one of them that I will talk to you about, and I think, yeah. So Aromatic Fougere. Okay, so this is another one. So this is also an EDT version, and I think I have only one or two, maybe, which is EDP. So yeah, just one. Okay, right. So most of them are EDT. So this is Aromatic Fougere. Now, Aromatic Fougere is a fragrance that's got a lot of spicy element to it. It's a green spicy element. It's got things like galbanum, geranium, that kind of a citrusy, spicy, green, herbaceous thing as such. It's very strong. If you like fragrances like Synthetic Jungle, for example, you might be able to kind of associate yourself with that. So it's a very nice fragrance, especially if you like spicy fragrances, fresh, aromatic type of fragrances which have got woody, which have got a green herbaceous vibe, and it's a fougere, like I said. So fougères are fragrances that generally have green fern-like textures to it or notes to it. So something that you want to consider, you can consider getting this. This is not one of my favorites because I kind of it takes a little bit of liking, like I said, to like spicy fragrances. So that is probably on my least liking type of a fragrance. Then there is another one called JPT EDT, so JPH. Now this is also a barbershop kind of a fragrance, but this is slightly different when you think about daddy issues. Now here there is a more of a citrusy, inky vibe to it, but it doesn't have that sweetness what daddy issues has. It's got more. It's not exactly in the lines of barbershop fragrance, but it actually falls under that category. But this has got more of a aromatic, spicy vibe to it, but not as spicy as the Aromatic Fougere. The Aromatic Fougere is very spicy in nature, but JPH is not that spicy, but it has got a bit of citrusy. It's got that spice element to it as well. So that is another fragrance that you can consider. Now these are typically very masculine type of fragrances to check as such, right? Then there is another fragrance. Okay, so before I go to, then there is another fragrance called as Angel Fresh. Okay, now this is also a very popular fragrance in their line. This is a fresh kind of a fragrance. Again, this has got grapefruit, seaweed, and a bit of sage. Overall smells very citrusy, refreshingly good summer fragrance as such. You can kind of consider this if you like fresh fragrances, minus the spicy element that we saw in the other two fragrances as such. You can think about it. This is more of an aquatic, marine kind of a vibe is something that you get, very well blended, very light in the air. That is something that you will absolutely observe about, Jashan fragrances, is that the quality of the fragrance is top notch because they're very light and airy. But one of the other fragrances which I did get in an EDP concentration is called as Aromatic. Okay, now Aromatic is basically a rather woody aromatic. Now this is a fragrance that's very interesting because this has got cannabis, which is the green note cannabis. It's got tobacco. It's got woody elements, it's got sweetness to it, it's got coffee. So on the whole, this smells like absolutely unique. And along with this has also got oud, right? So there is a oud in the dry down that's there in the fragrance, and overall it's a very unique creation where the green element of the fragrance is not that known, but the oud is very well made. The coffee note is something that you kind of smell very nicely. So it's a very good fragrance to consider, called as woody aromatic EDP. Now the EDP ones are obviously having more concentration than the other fragrances, the EDT one. So it kind of lasts a little longer, kind of projects well, and it's got a little more denser scent profile to it on the whole, and it smells nice. They also have fragrance oils like this, which they kind of send you as samples that you can also try. Right now, like I said, this is mainly a perfumery house. Like I said, they have a lot of their own creations like Sneaker, the Shake, TDC, and a lot of that. They do take inspiration from existing fragrances and tweak them with their own blends and kind of make it better. Aside to that, they do also have a lot of alts. Okay, so they don't have a lot of alts as other houses, but they keep adding new ones. But the quality of the alts are really high, I've heard, and they also say that it's very close to the OG in most cases. However, like I said, I have tried most of their private blends, and I kind of like their fragrance quality, what you receive from them. But like I said, slightly on the expensive side, but because they also use higher or good quality of ingredients, the blends are very nice. You do not get that alcohol blast or synthetic vibe or a low quality ingredient feel as such. Pretty good stuff. You can consider them at the same level of the top houses of alt houses in India. Like that kind of quality is what you kind of get. Typically very good for private collections or their own creations, because like I said, Piyush Bhai is a perfumer and he has got a very good understanding of how fragrance notes works. So you kind of get very good quality of fragrances, right? So I will put out the contact number in the description to let you know how these fragrances are, and you can definitely give them a call, try them, and you can check them out for yourself, right? So one or two things to note is that you might get a response a little slowly, because Piyush Bhai is actually managing this by himself in most cases, and he has Raj Bhai to kind of help him out. So you might expect a slight delay in getting responses to your messages, but you will definitely get the orders on time. That's not a problem. Quality of fragrances really good. A very good house in India to try. My recommendations would from this particular house, which are must try, I would definitely say one is Daddy Issues and Caramel, of course, and the last one, but nonetheless, the Woody Aromatic, which is another fab fragrance, right? And they have been with me for quite some time. They've been with me for more than 4-5 months now. So pretty well macerated, good stuff that you can get at a good price as well, right? So keep watching this particular channel for more Indian houses which make very good fragrances. And if you have certain houses that you would want me to experiment, please do let me know on that as well. And I'll see you on another video. Till then, take care. Bye now.